Hi everyone, Annie here from StampAnniething, and in this video we are going to be doing our dark skin tone with Copic markers. So these are the two images we are going to color, and these are the markers and in the order that I use them to do a dark skin tone. We have E59, E57, E15, E33, R22, and E31. If you've already came and watched us when we did our light skin tone video with the Copic markers, the system and the process is exactly the same, just with different markers. So our darkest color is the E59, so that is the color that we're going to be putting down the most sparingly and then blending it out each and every time with another marker on top of it to extend it. So with our E59, just like we did in our blending practice with our other marker for the light skin tone, if you were just holding your marker in a random way, like you hold your markers in your pens, and you drew a line, you end up with a very thick line. That is not what we want when we are doing our skin tone for this color. We want to use a 90-degree angle to make a nice thin line. So holding it up at a 90-degree angle as opposed to just how you would normally use it, you're going to get different thicknesses. And since it is the darkest color, we want to use a thinner line. Okay, and when we do this, and then we take our secondary marker, which is our E57, let me just zoom in here for you. We want to be going over that last color and extending it out, and you can see how the color starts to fade. And then you continue this whole entire system with each color subsequently in our list. So next is our E15. You go over those previous colors and you blend it out. And then you continue with E33 over the last ones, extend and blend out, and then E31, extend and blend out. And you'll get a nice blending effect with these darker colors. Okay, so you just want to keep that in mind. It's not laying down your color next to what you just put down, because then you see they're not blended, and if you were only to go over just a little bit, it doesn't blend well, but when you go over all of them is when you get that nice transition of color. Okay, so we are going to start up here with our girl image. I'm going to grab my E59, which is my darkest color. And her ear is kind of hard to see here, but she does have a little bit of an ear tucked in behind the hair right there. And also on this side. So it's just a thin line that I put down. And then we also want to go ahead and put down a thin line. And I'm not using it at a 90-degree angle only because I'm trying to let you guys see my marker as I'm going. But I'm still putting down a relatively thin line, but you will definitely want to use it at a 90-degree angle to make that thin line. And then we also like to do a little accent on her nose, and then one on the bottom of her mouth. And then I also like to start to form the outside part of her eye, and I just follow the line that's drawn and extend it to start making the outside portion of her eye. And this is with that E59. And then once we're done with that, you can put this marker away and we will not be needing it. And we go over into now our E57. And with the E57, we are going to first extend that little bit that's in her ear. Can't really see it. Most of it will get covered by hair anyway, but we're just going to extend those colors, and then we are going to go on top of the E59 that we already put down. And we are going to just simply blend and extend it. You might have to go over it just a little bit more than you did with your lighter colors because these are much more darker. And they need sometimes a little bit more working to get the blend going. And then we're going to extend on our eye just to start softening that first line down. And then when we start adding the other colors, it'll all start softening because they start to meld a bit together. She looks a little crazy right now, but just trust in the process and we will get her done. Next is our E15. So I'm going to just color in the rest of that ear on both sides. It's such a small area. And then we're going to go again, another round of going on top of that old color and extending it. And this is still the dark skin tone. So you are going to want to, and I will show you in just a moment after we get this blend done, because we don't have as many colors in, well, for me, I mean, obviously you can add more to your skin tone combination, but my skin tone for dark does not have as many. It's one marker less than I use for my light skin tone. So that just means I have to adjust in my coloring how much I'm going to be putting down. So I am going to first blend out the colors that we have. And what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to close my eye circle. And I'm going to do it on both sides. I went a little crazy on that one. You can clean that up later with a colorless blender. Do my nose, do underneath my mouth. But now I want to actually bring this down a little bit more. And the reason for that is I have one less marker color than I did in the other one. And if I didn't, I would have, she'll read really too light on the inside for a dark skin tone if I didn't bring this down so that those other colors will bridge my little bit of a gap. Now I'm going to take my E33 and I'm going to go over and extend down. And I'm going to bring it down a little bit, like where her T-zone, I guess you could say, would be. Because this is our second to the last color. And if you followed me in the other one, you know our last color is just a little square in the center of the face. So we're trying to get to that point with the marker. So I'm also going to I'm going to go cheek to cheek down the side here. And then I'm going to blend around that eye. So remember, we want to soften that up. And I'm actually going to go up around the mouth part. And I'm going to go around my eye here and my nose. But I'm also going to just close the part between the nose and the mouth. So now I have that little square just like I did when I had my light skin tone. And with my last color, which is my E31, and you do have to work this color a little bit more to go into your existing ones. Because if you don't, you see how like it's a really light tan beige? We don't want that. So you just have to kind of work it a little bit more And that is why you really want to go over those last colors, not just the section that is not colored, because you want to kind of bring and blend these colors in with it. And now you can see I don't have that really light part that we did a moment ago. And then I'm going to grab my R22, and this is for her cheek color. And just like on my other video, I go down from the side and around the cheeks. And give her a little bit of color. Ooh, my cat just flew. Sorry about that. And then with my E31, I'm just going to hit up the edges of the inside here just to lighten that pink part. And there is our dark skin tone on our girl. Now our boy, as you can see, he has a lot more forehead showing than she did. So when we do that part of bringing it down, we just kind of have to figure where our color is going to lie. And as you can see, I did not do a great job on my eye here. So if you have something like that happens, or even on the outside here with a colorless blender, it doesn't do so great with the pinks and the red tones, but you'll be able to clear it up a bit. And you don't want to saturate it a whole bunch. You kind of want to put some down, leave it alone to dry, because the colorless blender pushes the ink back. So if you have an area and you're oversaturating, it's going to bleed. Think of like your paper towels. Okay, you have a spill on your countertop, and if you put your paper towel down on the spill, it goes right into where the most part of the spill is, and then it kind of bleeds out around it. That's what will end up happening with your colorless blender as well. If you put too much of it down initially, it's just going to blend out into all those other colors. Okay. Now, if you do have a dark color on the side, usually it's the reds that are really hard to cover up even with a colorless blender. This is when a white gel pen would come in really handy. But also keep in mind, you don't clean it up as you're doing parts of your image. Wait until your whole image is done, because sometimes when you put the hair on and then the clothes on, or if it's an animal and you're putting the fur on, things like that sometimes are not even noticeable. They're only noticeable to you because you colored it. So you don't want to, again, oversaturate things and then you end up having bleed outs that way. Okay, so now let's start on our boy part. So we're going to go back to that E59, and we are going to put a thin line on either side of the ears. Okay, and then we're going to go down the side of the face and down the hairline. And I will do a hair video on these ones in a little bit. I just wanted to get the skin tones because I know a lot of people have been asking for videos on the skin tones. Okay, and then we have to go down the side here. Oops, got a little bit of a white gap. And then we're going to do this. And again, I am using a very thin line going on here. And then I'm going to go around his eye, just like we did with the girl, so that we can start forming sockets. Okay, so that is with your E59. Then I'm going to go in with my E57, and I'm just going to go over and extend that little bit on the ear. Again, the ears are super tiny. And then I'm going to go ahead and start doing my side of my face. Just going on the color we put down. Kind of like a scrubbing back and forth type of action. So you're getting the two colors to blend together. Okay. And down the other side. And then we're going to go around his nose area and on the underside of the mouth. And then we just want to go and extend on our eyes. Again, I know it looks mad crazy, but once we get all the colors on there and blending it, it looks really great. Okay, so next in is our E15. So let's just go ahead and finish up coloring our little ears. And now we're going to go start blending the side. This is the color that we're going to bring down, but first we just want to go and get the parts that we have to get done first, and then we can see how far down we're actually going to bring it. Okay, so just continue the same procedure we did before, and then do his nose and the mouth. Now we're going to also close the eye gap. So we're going to go around the eye. And then we're going to go and do the same thing on the other side. Okay. And now we can figure about the bringing it down. And I'm just going to bring it down. Again, forehead area, but I'm also going to bring in the side a little bit as well. Okay. And now I can go in with my E33 and extend this as well. Bring this down a little bit further. I'm going to close in the side a little bit because again, I just want that little section in the center of the face. I'm going to go cheek to cheek around the mouth. I'm going to bridge the mouth to that nose area as well with this color. Make sure I soften the part that's around the eye and then continue around my eye and do my nose. And again, I'm just left with that small little section in the center of his head. And again, if I don't blend it, if I was just gonna do the edges around it, you can see, let me zoom out so you can see how it looks like. It's very patchy as opposed to how she's very blended. That is why I say you want to go over your other colors. It helps to bring it all together and not just that one area that you're coloring. You're just making sure all the colors. And you can see now he doesn't have that funky color like he did a minute ago. Sorry, hit the camera again. And now we're going to go in with our little bit of pink. We're just going to add in some cheeks for him as well, like we did our girl. And then hit up the edges. Now this video was not about precision, it was just about blending. We do teach classes for techniques and things of that nature, but I just wanted to show you a color blend. I'm just cleaning up this eye a little bit. A color blend of which markers I like to use for my skin tones. They are my try and true method. I know other people out there will have different, you know, color combinations, but these are the ones that I like. I think they give a really nice variation in the color. Again, but this is Copic's. We have our video for Copic out with the light skin tones. This is Copic with the dark skin tones. And I will have a video for light and dark for Ohuhu. And then I will eventually get around to do some for hair color samples and things of that nature. But thanks a lot for joining me. Again, I am Annie from StampAnniething, and we hope that you stamp it, love it, and color it. Have a great day. Bye.